Hey, thanks for joining me. So, I want to talk about a camera today from Nikon. This was made back in the 80s, 1980s. It's the Nikon FG. Now this was kind of one of their amateur level cameras, but it's a camera that's got a lot of features. It's very capable, lightweight, compact, and I think it'd be a great camera for a beginner or as a second, spare body for someone that's already shooting Nikon film cameras. I got this, went to a thrift store, and there was this huge camera bag full of Nikon stuff, and it was only $29, and so I bought the bag, and this was in there. There was also a couple of the lenses that were in there I've already shown on my channel, the 105 f2.5 Nikkor and the 55mm f3.5 micro Nikkor. They were in that also. But this FG is a really fun little camera, and like I said, it's very capable, and of course it's Nikon, so it'll accept the Nikon AI and AIS lenses, and we're going to put it on the workbench so you can take a look at it up close, and we'll talk about its features and let you see how it works. Anyway, the Nikon FG, let's take a look. Okay, let's take a look at this camera. This is the Nikon FG. It's a 35mm single lens reflex made by Nikon. Starting in 1982, it was the replacement for the Nikon EM and was later replaced by the Nikon FG20. So this was made between 1982 and 1984. They made a lot of them, so they're not hard to find. You could get this in either black or silver. And one of the things that's kind of unique about this camera, it was the first one to have program mode. You can see the red P there. So up until this time, none of Nikon's cameras had that capability to have program mode where the camera would set both the aperture and the shutter speed for you. This camera also has, you notice there's a button there that unlocks this. It has aperture priority, or you can manually set shutter speeds. And if your battery dies, you can put it on M90, which is a 90th of a second manual. In other words, you could even take the batteries out of this. The meter won't work, nothing will, you won't see any LEDs or anything in the viewfinder, but the camera will fire. It will also fire on bulb. So if your battery dies, you still have a way to take pictures. Okay, so this camera is, like I said, is really got a lot of features. So it's got all the metering modes. It's got exposure compensation. There's a button you can press here to release it. You can compensate plus or minus 2 stops on your exposure. You set the ISO by raising this outer ring and turning it to set a different ISO. There's a little red dot on the edge of that, and you can set it to the ISO you want. Got a hot shoe, of course, and you notice all these extra little pins in the hot shoe. This actually would work with the right flashes. It would actually do what's called TTL off the film metering. In other words, there's a sensor, if I can make it where you can see it, there's a sensor in the bottom of the, awful dark in there, but there's a sensor down here in the bottom that actually looks at the film. So when the shutter opens and the flash fires, that sensor looks at the film, and when enough light has reached the film, it turns the flash off. And so it requires, of course, a flash that has all those matching pins on it, like this SB15, which is what, when I got this camera, this was with it. And the TTL flash metering enabled you to have extremely accurate flash exposures. So if you do any flash exposure, flash photography, it's really nice to have. This has a typical, you pull up the rewind knob and lift it a little bit more and the back door opens. It's got a vertical traveling metal shutter, and real reliable shutter. I don't recall, back when I used to repair cameras, I don't really recall having any problem with these. And it's just a real capable little camera. So it's one that will give you a lot of functionality without breaking the bank. Now, I talked about this being compatible with AI and AIS lenses. AI lenses will have this kind of a ridge right here that sticks out, and it actually turns this lever right here on the front of the camera that tells it what aperture your lens is set at. There's another switch down here in the very bottom that this little protrusion right here turns when you mount the lens. And this camera would typically come with something like this 35 to 70 zoom, or it might come with a 50mm f1.8 Series E, just 50mm lens. These are really common. Actually, what's interesting is this lens has almost kind of like a cult following. Nikon made this lens. They basically took the 50mm f1.8 that they had been making for a while, and they decided to make it more compact. And in reformulating the lens to make it more compact, it actually made it perform better. And so this lens, despite the fact that it's kind of, well, it's got a metal mount, but it's, all the internals are plastic. It's got amazing image quality, and it's really almost like a pancake lens. It's so tiny, 50mm f1.8. If you run across one of these Nikon Series E 50mm f1.8s, it's definitely a lens to pick up if you like adapting lenses to your vintage or your mirrorless camera. Nikons also are a little bit different in that when you mount the lens, it turns counterclockwise to lock rather than clockwise. And you push the button here to release it, and you turn clockwise to disengage the lens, take it off. So that's, if you're not a Nikon shooter, that's going to seem a little backwards, but it's easy to get used to. This has a removable grip here that you can take off if you mount like the motor drive on it. So they made two different winders or motors for this thing. You can see the coupler there, and there's some contacts here. So they made one that was a simple winder, and another one where you took off this grip, and it had a thing that came up the front there with a button on it, and so you could actually get a winder for this. These days I don't think too many people use winders because film's so expensive. They just don't want to blaze through film like that. That kind of speaks to a day from when film was much cheaper than it is now. So in the viewfinder in this, I tried to actually see if we could shoot video through the viewfinder, and that really didn't really work very well. But this representation here is actually on the right side of the viewfinder, and there's LEDs, and basically what happens is if you're shooting it in program or aperture priority, it's just going to show you what shutter speed it's selecting. But if you're shooting it in manual, there'll be a solid red LED indicating what shutter speed you have set, and a blinking either single LED or a pair of them that show you what you should have the shutter speed set at if you want to be in the correct exposure. So it's really nice. It also, if you're using a flash, there's an indicator that shows when your flash is charged. It's just a very capable little camera. And so the LEDs in it are really nice. And I call it match LED metering. If you're shooting in manual, as you change the aperture, you can actually see the LEDs go up and down. And when they line up with the single LED that's on solid, that indicates the shutter speed you have the camera set at, then you know you've got the right exposure. So anyway, it's just a really capable little camera. A lot of fun to use. Pretty lightweight, and I really like this. And like I said, if your battery dies, you can put this on M90 and it'll work without a battery. You can also use it in bulb without a battery, and it's nice to know that when you're out shooting, if your battery dies, you can actually continue working. So anyway, this is a Nikon FG. I think it's a great little camera, and while it would be a good camera for a beginner, the camera bag that I bought was full of professional gear, and yet the photographer had this along with an FE and an FM and a bunch of lenses, and obviously he had this in there, or he or she, whoever it was, as probably a second or backup camera. But one of the nice things is this camera has a lot of the features you would get on the FE, and the FE didn't even have program mode. So it's a neat little camera, very capable. And like I say, they're not very expensive. Anyway, that's the Nikon FG. If you're looking for something to get started with in film photography, I don't think you could find anything that's better than this for getting started. Oh, by the way, there is a self-timer here. You can, typical fashion, you pull the self-timer down and press the button. It'll run to the top and fire the shutter. It gives you about 10 seconds. But anyway, this just a very capable little camera with a lot of features. And easy on your pocketbook. Anyway, that's the Nikon FG. Well, there you go. That's the Nikon FG. really like this camera. This probably end up being gifted to one of my grandkids or something. I think it's just a very capable camera. You can, put it in program mode and it'll do everything for you except for focus. And if you want to have more control, you can shoot it manual, and it's got good match LED metering, and will even work without batteries. Like I said when we had it on the bench, it's just a really capable little camera, well thought out, easy to use, and pretty easy on the budget too. You can find these used for anywhere from a little bit less than $100 to maybe $150 or $75. They're just not very expensive, but a very capable little camera. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. If you have any thoughts or questions, please don't hesitate to leave me a comment. I always love hearing from you. And as always, thanks for watching.